So you may be experiencing some very high energies. I wouldn't say that they feel like, oh gee, I have lots of energy. What it will feel more like is that, oh my gosh, I can't handle things. Right now we are experiencing a lot of new high frequency energies coming to our planet, to our beingness, to our everyday lives. And although we can't see them necessarily, we can see them in the areas of our lives that feel like they're maybe falling apart. We surely do feel them. So for some of us, it might feel like maybe we're not getting enough sleep. It might feel that we can't make decisions, that our minds are sort of crossing a little bit. We'll start to be on this path of, I know what I'm going to do, and have a very linear, clear vision, and suddenly there's just all of this other stuff, and our ability to even, send an email correctly isn't working anymore. Whatever it might be, things are just going a little bit berserk, or at least it seems. These are good things. These are things that are letting us know. It is prompting us, let's say, to step into who we are, to become more enlightened. Every couple of weeks I am going to be giving an Illuminations teleconference, and so today I spent an hour conversing with some attendees, some participants, and brought some information that I wanted to share. And one of the things that came through in today's talk was this idea of feeling that we are in a sort of, that we are coming to a crossroads. Now, when I do my readings with people, I'll often find that they are at a crossroads in their personal lives. They'll say, do I do this or do I do that? Do I make this decision and take that career, or do I decide to do this other type of career instead? What we're sensing instead is more of feeling this energy of being at a crossroads in our lives, but also in our souls. So on the smaller scale, sure, it may feel like, do I move here or do I move here? Do I buy a house? Do I stay in a rental? Where do I go? These are normal. These are normal everyday occurrences, and some people don't even think twice about them. But the energy that's happening with a lot of these is that they feel a little bit more intense. And I do love the word intense because it implies just that. It is intense. It is not necessarily good or bad. It's just a lot of. And speaking of a lot of, the energy that we are starting to experience and feel is that we are wanting more. It is as if this energy that is coming to us, through us, showing up in our lives, is prompting us to want more. Unfortunately, we do have sort of negative connotations around this idea of more, more food, not good, supersize me, whatever it might be, more money, it becomes like a game. Of course, we all do like more money, but there is this sort of negative connotation that even if we have a mediocre amount, that sometimes wanting more seems to be an indication that you're somehow not grateful. Well, we do live in an abundant, infinite universe, and what we are wanting more of has more of a reflection of that than anything on the material plane. Sure, it may show up and start to feel within us that we do want more on the material plane, which is perfect, because what we are wanting more of is more joy, more prosperity, more abundance, and to be living more in heaven here on earth. At this crossroads, what I shared today was that we may often feel that we need to make a decision, an either or decision. And what I recommend instead of making a decision to do A or B is to just sit and rest at that crossroads, to not make any decisions about anything, to allow yourself to simply be. It is in this stillness that we might start to observe, first of all, how we are feeling. What does it feel like to be at this crossroads? Well, probably uncertain and a little bit frightening. But we also can start to observe what's around us. Maybe there aren't just two paved paths. Maybe we will start to see a little bit of a trail, wandering off over here. And we might start to notice that there are a multitude of choices that we can make. This, of course, frees us up, but it also can be a little bit overwhelming. And because of that sense of being overwhelmed, I just suggest that you simply allow yourself to be. Now, in my normal illuminations talks, I like to not only give information about what's going on in the universe, but I also like to give practical tools. And in this truncated version that I'll be doing, I'm only going to try to squeeze in an hour's worth of information into basically a 10-minute summary. So I may not hit all of the practical tools. However, I do want to offer this, this place of just kind of going into your heart and breathing into that. Breathing into that when you feel overwhelmed and that you feel like you have to do something, to move into the stillness of allowing. The other piece that came through that was so important, that is more than just wanting the more on the material level, or even, let's say, career-wise or life situation-wise, is that what we are really being asked for is, do we want more in our soul? Do we want to become more? Do we want to become the oneness, step into the grandness of enlightenment, or do we want to stay asleep? And as easy as of a choice that may seem from the outside, it's like, well, of course I want enlightenment. When you get to that point, when things start to blast you so intensely, we start to have our doubts. I feel like that it's a process that needs to be unfolded gently, and that we can't necessarily push ourselves. What we are trying to step into, what we are trying to discern or decide or move towards at this point in our lives, is deciding first, what do we want? Do we want to move into this place of enlightenment, or do we want to stay in a smaller, more simple state? And in all honesty, in many ways, it is much easier to just stay simple, do your life as you were going to do it yesterday, and not have to do anything more, not have to know any more, not have to be any bigger than you are. But what I would really like to encourage for you to do is not make that decision. Not feel pressured that, yes, I have to be more. I have to go out and do something. In the grandness that you become, as you move towards this energy, you will actually start to feel this pull, this idea of, I have to be doing something, because that's what we're so used to doing when we have this urge to do more. It's like, well, how can I produce more? How can I make more? How can I work more? And instead, what I would recommend is that you don't do more, you don't try more, you don't push yourself anymore. But if you allow yourself to just sit at that crossroads, perhaps you don't even make the decision about whether to be enlightened or not. Perhaps you just simply go inward and just be. And in this being, or at least in this intention, if you actually make a choice consciously, yes, I want to be enlightened, it is simply a matter of allowing. And in that allowing, you will find a little bit more peace, a little bit more ease, and of course, in that energy of allowing, there is flow. And so with that, I just want to bless you for this day and say thank you.